Zlurpcast!
Hey, look at this shirt. Get yourself one at Zlurpcast.net. It's only 20 plus, 22-ish? I don't know. If it's 22, we get two, roughly. So thanks in advance. Zlurpcast TV, we have Biran, Valdric, Xtreme. Xtreme did a baseball type shirt, right? Huh. Don Johnson.
You're muted.
Is it a Ron John surf shop like in the 90s?
No, it's a Dwayne Johnson, but he's on mute, right? All
Can't
right,
hear
well,
you.
Xtreme figures out his vocal cords. Very technical.
Nope.
See, he wraps the vocal cords real tight because he's a cord cleaner. You know what I mean? He keeps tidy cords. Biran and Valdric and I will discuss things. Like, for example, is Kill Team better than Deadzone? Or is Deadzone from Mantic better than Kill Team? Xtreme, are you back?
I'm not muted.
Can you bump your volume up, please? Can you pump up the volume like the movie with Christian Slater from the early 90s?
We need someone to buy 8,700 t-shirts to get Brian a proper microphone.
I don't even have a proper microphone. So we're going to talk about these two sci-fi skirmish games. And I think, assuming this episode is going to hit, 20,000 views in the first few days, like most of them do, there's no reason why there won't be a series of Mantic versus Games Workshop. Because, Biran, am I wrong to say like Big Mick vibes with a lot of Mantic things?
Yeah, GW has the golden arches and Mantic has the golden arch.
Golden Arch. Which one has two sesame seed buns?
Our buns have no seeds at Mantic.
No.
Which ones have extra ghoul on it? Bye, Xtreme. Fucker doesn't even say bye. They call that the Irish goodbye.
Yeah. Sarlo is famous for it.
Oh, any family party, it's like my favorite thing to do. Like go to the bathroom and then find a quick way out. Xtreme, you're back.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that works. Thanks for joining us. We can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
So we're talking Deadzone, we're talking Kill Team. Xtreme, earlier today, you sent over a video to our private group of a dude comparing the two games, but he reviewed the previous Kill Team, and people will say, well, that's like 40K light. And yeah, it is. Do you think that guy, Xtreme, would change anything knowing, like if he did a new one with proper new Kill Team?
I mean, that video was 2 years old, so it's not like he chose to. It was definitely dated. I don't know about him, but I know I definitely would have. Like if we're comparing these two from the previous versions, it's not close for me at all. Whereas we compare the new versions of each game, it's a pretty close call for me.
Okay, so when we reviewed Deadzone, second edition Deadzone was out. When we reviewed Kill Team, wait, we did a new Kill Team, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
But we did an old one too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we have both for your listening pleasure, your fapping delight, if you will. A lot of people may not have compared the games yet because much to our collective chagrin, we didn't realize that Kill Team's really only been out for a little over 2 months upon the time of this recording. Seems like longer because we've been watching teaser videos and checking things out for 6 months. And it's only been out for a couple of months. Quick round here. How many games of current Kill Team have you guys played?
I probably plays half a dozen.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4 to 5, something like that.
Xtreme?
I lost for the first time last week.
0.
0.
But you studied.
I read a lot, watched a lot of videos. I was excited about it.
I've played twice, 1.5 really, twice. And I mean, while some may say it's not enough to truly judge, I think it is, because we play these types of games all the time. So it's not, yes, there's new things with it, but I could play one game and get a feel for it. Xtreme could read a bunch on it, watch videos and get a feel for it. So from the they call it Kill Team 21, right? KT 21.
Yeah, because the last one was what, Kill Team 18 or 16?
16, I think.
16.
So those are the various ages that Biran drops of consent. He'll go start at 21, goes to 18, then he goes 16.
Depending on the state.
Yeah.
Depending on the state, yeah. Deadzone has a 3rd edition out. And I will say, and this is not a Mantic knock, you know, I'm a fan of Deadzone. My name's in the rule book. I helped twice of the 2nd edition. I worked with Jake Thornton directly on rules that are in the game.
Your best friend is Coach.
Yeah, and Coach this one. Well, and that one too. I didn't even know this was out. So marketing discussion will obviously be brought up as well.
Do you know is on the way we don't know Warpath is out, or we don't know Kill Team or Deadzone's out? Is Warpath out?
I think it's the Warpath obviously is a, well, we'll say tongue-in-cheek here on.
The Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel thing?
Yes. And like Mike's little physical things he's doing down there, which I'm trying not to look at because I want to concentrate on the task. I can't watch Mike's, do this. Warpath is a joke that we carry on with. Deadzone, I went to Mantic's website today, and there is a Deadzone 3 section, but then there's a Deadzone section that says books, and it's just all the old stuff. So I was a little confused. So my first thought was the Deadzone 3 section is pre-order, but it doesn't tell you it's pre-order. But then Mike said he got his at retail, correct?
Yeah. Last week.
Okay, so it is out.
Yeah.
Now, whether you, the viewer, will be able to buy Deadzone version 3 rulebook at your local store, that remains to be seen. I would venture a guess to say you are way more likely to find a version 2 rulebook on the shelf of your store than a version 3 rulebook.
Now, is it just a rulebook or is there a new box set too, Mike?
Both.
Okay.
Okay. Either way, you know what? Either way. I think that when the first Deadzone came out, I saw the big box with all the terrain at several stores because it was like, holy shit, it's like the new Necromunda. I saw it everywhere. Saw less stuff. I saw all the team boxes because that was when the VCR, VHS box, all that stuff. Saw it all. Like you get the full run. 2nd edition comes out. Started to see a couple of books here and there. Not as many of the box set. 3rd edition, and I hope I'm wrong, I don't think I'm going to see a lot of 3rd edition box sets at your friendly local game store. You guys agree or disagree?
It's weird though, because there was no Kickstarter for this, right?
Nope.
So you would think retailer would be a little more kind and order a little more generously because they don't feel
if you're a shop owner, Biran, and you've been around for, I don't know, we'll say 6-7 years, has Mantic run its course with you already?
The only one I see still getting support widespread is Kings of War.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably order a handful.
I think they still need to repair that relationship more. I don't think they put nearly enough effort into doing that.
And also, are they going through distributors or do you still have to go direct?
All good questions. So for those couple of months in 2015 that I sold for Mantic, I was calling stores across the country, and I had a Kings of War, like I had the 3 packages, Kings of War, well, 3 within each, so 9 total. So it was like Deadzone, Dreadball, Kings of War. It was like, the everything, the dipping my toes in, and then the whatever, middle of the road. And, shop owners they're the 7th archetype on our gamer archetype episode because they
combine all 6 into a Voltron.
Right. They are all of them. They are the
device.
Voltron of all of them, but then they're also their own because they love to tell you the stories that go with their life.
And you just want to say, so that's a no, click.
Right. Yeah, just say no. Instead, I was belittled for not doing. I didn't do the fucking Kickstarter. I'm just asking if you want this. Like, that's it. It's literally, I mean, it was pretty cut and dry. Here's the retail value. It's double what your price is. This is what you get. I'll throw in a demo game and some miscellaneous things to do demo. Then you're essentially getting double of what you or not double,
Right.
It was pretty easy to jump in. That's fine. You want to say no. And 99% of the phone calls were a no in some roundabout way. But just the sheer disdain for a lot of things Mantic did, and frankly, a lot of things that just anyone not named Games Workshop is pitching, pissed off shop owners. And so there's a lot of other stuff that's going on as far as, you're right, Biran, about, are they using a distributor? Do you have to go direct? Is the discount the same? Am I going to upset my Games Workshop rep? There's a lot of stuff that goes along with all of this. With that said, to your point, Xtreme, what have they done to fix and repair those relationships? And I don't know if anything. If it's just, well, fuck it, we're just gonna sell on our website and people are gonna buy it if they're interested. It's like, well,
And we're a little
sort of.
skewed because our local shop, Todd at Grognard, is a Mantic fan.
Is he a Mantic fan or is he Kings of War?
Kings of War, but he orders Kings of War. He ordered a lot of Armada.
Yeah. He ordered a lot of Deadzone, to be honest with you.
He ordered, so like the initial Armada run, he got some, probably didn't
And all the
restock.
expansion stuff that came out, he's gotten.
Yeah, he's got every expansion that's come out.
Okay. Then you know what? That's awesome. I know that stores that I frequent both before I moved, and so Colorado and Iowa, it was not like that. Generally Mantic. So like what I would see, and I'm talking about maybe 5 or 6 different stores that I've frequented enough to get how they deal with it. Mantic stuff goes into the miscellaneous books section. Next to a bunch of Osprey stuff, which is great, but then also next to the things that no one's going to touch. You know what I mean? Like War Games Illustrated magazine or something.
Yeah, when I've been to other stores, like on travels, like we always like to, hey, let's see what comic book stores are there.
Right.
See what game stores are there.
Same here. Yeah.
You don't see a lot of Mantic.
No.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of that. You might see some boxes on clearance. You might also see, I did see some Armada here and there, because I think a lot of stores gave that a try because of the history with Black Sails, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they kind of were like, I'll try this one. So
what is the box set going for price wise?
125.
And is it typical where you get a bunch of the scenery, a mat, and the
You get a paper mat, you get the rule book, the faction book, and the token sheet, which is $45 on its own. You get the D8s, the
command dice.
Thank you. Pretty much a faction of Vermin, a faction of the GCP, whatever.
Yes.
the generic
Yes.
Imp Guard guys?
Yeah, and the terrain.
Okay.
I like the new mat art. I think it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I
The
picked up
mat?
one of those.
The mat or the paper?
The mat, I
They
mean,
have a
the,
neoprene one as well for sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 2 of them. There's a classic grayish one, which I think is the same as before, and then there's a newer one that's got a more cyberpunky city theme to it. So
Oh, cool.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. that's about 40, I think, which is typical for a
It's a 4x4, right? Or 3x4.
4x4. Yeah,
4x4. Yeah, it's about right.
yeah.
there's also new stuff with the terrain. There's like small vending machines, all that extra
Yeah.
stuff that you can.
Oh,
Yeah.
from Terrain Crate, right?
You mean
Yeah.
2x2, Biran? What are you talking about? 4x4?
How big is the mat? Is it? You said it's a
2 foot by 2 foot, right?
Oh, is it 2x2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you playing? What are you playing? Deadzone XL
It's
over there?
bigger than that.
Yeah, because 2x2 is like that.
Yeah, I think it's a 4x4.
It's
There's
2
no
by 2.
way. It's always
It
been
is 2x2.
Always been 2 by. So those squares are 3-inch by. Let's do some math hammer, you guys, or math zone.
Yeah, it'd be
We
2x2,
believe you.
yeah.
No math.
The cubes are 3 by 3 by 3 inches. We all know
okay.
this. So there's 4.
Seems bigger. That's what she
Well,
Yeah. Why push in the fat mountain to make it look a little bigger?
I think it seems bigger. And listen, I dabble in the marketing game. It seems bigger, Mike, because now you're buying it separately.
You know what? You're right, because I was digging in the garage to find some stuff to sneak onto Todd's shelves that I'm looking. And I found my old Walking Dead mat, and that's a 2x2, and I think it's the same size.
The Walking Dead's a weird size because I tried to bring it in for Relic Blade. It was too small.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like 22 inches by. It's weird.
I don't even remember that one. But so I think that, obviously we'd all love to see the neoprene mat included in there, but that first box set had everything. Remember that first Deadzone 1 had a fuck ton of terrain.
Yeah, it did. It really
well, it was
And
also
the
fueled by
neoprene.
Kickstarter bucks and stretch goals and shit, right?
Yeah, it was, but it was a lot in there. So second edition comes out, a hardcover rule book in that one. This one's soft, which we'll talk about. And because it starts with the paper mat. And now they're continuing that trend. That's fine. You probably should keep the cost at $125 because I believe wasn't
And
the
also,
first
how many
Deadzone-
people buying this already have mats from the previous version?
Yeah, probably.
They
You're
sell to a
right.
lot of the same people as we know,
Wasn't the first Deadzone $200?
or 180 or something. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I think it was
this
200.
seems cheaper than the first one.
Yeah, so that's fine. I think if you're in at 125, you're good. Knowing that, and honestly, and we're going to talk about this throughout this episode, but because it is a Deadzone versus Kill Team. I just wanted to set the stage for each game before we get into the games. But Mantic is like the we want to undercut too. So going with your box set at 125, knowing Kill Team is 175, right? What's the Kill Team box?
I forgot, but it was
Yeah.
more.
It's at least 175, I think.
Yeah.
And you get the cardboard, the fold out board, and 2 brand new awesome sets of models there. So Deadzone 3 though has a lot of similarities to Deadzone 2, both in the rules, which we'll talk about, but also I'm trying to just kind of like put it out there as far as release wise. Deadzone wants to make sure that price point can get people into their game because 1, it's not a Kickstarter again, and 2, if you do see this on the shelf, do you walk past the Kill Team section and look at this and say, let's try this?
I will say, I think the all the package art and the rulebook art and stuff for this version of Deadzone catches my eye a lot more than the previous versions did.
They've
So I don't
improved on their overall art and graphic design.
In my opinion, they have. I mean, it definitely looks a lot more exciting. The older Deadzone, there's just so much gray on it.
Yeah, they discovered color with this one.
Yeah.
Now in color.
Yeah. Also, Kill Team's $200 MSRP.
Okay, $200. So let's talk about that then. So we've talked about the Deadzone 3 release and kind of where that's at right now. So just to recap for people that may be sour on things in the past, there's no Kickstarter. You can go in fresh, and I urge you to go in fresh and treat it like hey, this is a new game we can check out, review, compare, contrast, and do all those things.
I think Mantic needs to be complimented for this not being a Kickstarter too, because like Brian said, you're selling to the same audience that already loves your games mostly. That's the bulk of your purchases. So you very easily could have done a Kickstarter, sold to those people, and made a ton of money, but they chose not to, trying to do things a way that would be more game store friendly.
That's fair. You know what? I'll give them credit, but I'm also not going to go overboard on that because, to quote Chris Rock, I take care of my kids. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like you want credit for shit you're supposed to do. So there is some credit, Xtreme, but I'm not going to go overboard on that. Like, let's kiss their ass because they didn't do
I
a
was just saying
Kickstarter.
that. I was just offering a compliment to them. I'm not doing anything else.
You don't want to join the Kiss My Ass Club of Vince McMahon?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so fair. A compliment has been presented. Mantic, Ronnie, open your inbox. Xtreme has presented you with a compliment. if you are, if you're see this game, like I said earlier at the game store, and he's like, oh, another sci-fi skirmish game. Let's look into this, because there's several out there now. There's several games that can kind of scratch this itch for you. Let's switch over to Kill Team. Box on the shelf right now, brand new Kill Team, new rules, new everything, new models, new all of it. $200. That's a hefty price tag. Is it a hefty price tag to an existing Games Workshop fanboy?
Probably not.
I don't think so. I think at this point, like it's like you know, whatever hobby you get into, you've now like you've assimilated into, this is how I act. If you get into golf, you know you're going to spend a lot of money every time you golf with your friends. Whereas before you were into, go ahead, sorry, Xtreme.
With that statement, though, would we agree that both companies have their target audience that already loves their stuff, and that's who they're selling to for the most part?
Yeah,
like
I think
they're not actively going out and, I mean, they want to attract new people into their games, obviously, but that's not realistic.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you're talking about people who play Deadzone 2 to get 3, people who played Kill Team 18, whatever you want, to play the Kill Team 21, the new one, it is, you know, I'm not saying there's no Venn diagram. There are some people that play both, but it's essentially exactly what you said, Xtreme. You might get some, I'll try this. I will tell you, if there is any dipping over to the other side, I don't see very many ever doing the, I like Deadzone, I'll try Kill Team. It's got to be the other way around, right? Who's so into Deadzone that says, now I'm out? I don't think that happens, because you've settled on, and I don't mean settled in a negative context. I mean, but you've chosen, I like the way this game plays. Because we're going to talk about two very different gameplays. If you really like the Deadzone gameplay, maybe you don't like certain things about the models or this and that, whatever, but you like the gameplay, I don't see anything that's ever going to make you try any version of Kill Team.
I think they're two, aside from being skirmish, they play so differently. Like,
Yeah,
I would
they really
put Deadzone closer to Dust.
Yeah, but I mean, from a crossover, to your point earlier, Xtreme.
Yeah, I don't think there is much of a cross, but I mean, I think once you've found a game, if you're that happy with it, why would you be looking at anything else? Like,
well, something has to sour you, I think. I think you have to, something has to, I think in general, gamers are pretty loyal. But to a point, they're loyal until they're mad about something. And that's the moment where they say, well, what else is out? So Games Workshop always loses people. They also always gain.
I think I have a scenario where a Deadzone player would try Kill Team.
Okay.
And I think it'd be when they run out of people to play. They
Yeah,
keep going to the store and the player base keeps getting smaller. Like, well, let me try Kill Team. People are actually playing that game.
Yeah, that's fair. I think some of that, like if someone runs into that, they're at a bit of a crossroads, because do they switch to the other side, as they probably say? Or do they say, fuck it, I'll try Kings of War, maybe I'll get a better response there?
But if you like sci-fi skirmish games, then
I know, but hey, Xtreme, when you're a jet all the way. If you like Mantic, you like Mantic, right?
Yeah. For the most part, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
If you like Mantic, you like Mantic. But I don't, and as anyone watching this, I'm not trying to put you in a box, but we know this, like, because we just said we're target. If you like Games Workshop, you like Games Workshop. I think we've covered a lot of games in our 100 plus whatever episodes, and they're not all Games Workshop. They're not all Mantic. So again, you can play everything, but by and large, Games Workshop people like Games Workshop games, and people who play Mantic games like Mantic games. They might dabble, but in general, I've found they stick to that. Whereas Biran and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not in your gaming group anymore, but you are not tied to either one of those companies. You are not a Games Workshop mostly group. You are not a Mantic mostly group. You are an everything group but it actually pushes those two companies down. I don't think those companies get the what's the word? Get the piece of the friendly ass Grognard's pie like an independent game, or not independent game, but you know what I mean. Somebody outside of those two would get. Am I right?
Well, we're still. I mean, when Kill Team came out, we all got it.
But
When new games come out, we tend to buy them anyway.
when it runs its course, Mike, you're not moving to another Games Workshop.
The Warcry stuff looks pretty cool.
Which one?
New Warcry.
Yeah.
Warbands coming.
But it's Warcry though.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I will buy the minis.
Sure, they're great. Those new Warcry minis are fantastic. They're all fantastic.
I think building off that, it's not that you're dead set on one or the other, but you always have a preference. It's kind of like I think Tarantino said you're either an Elvis person or a Beatles person. You can't be both.
Can you
Like,
be
sure, you can like both, or you can not like either, but you have to like one more than the other.
Agreed.
But it's a lot of it's going to come down to everything else being equal, I would probably rather play Deadzone for its mechanics, but more likely I'm going to find people to play Kill Team with.
Mike, save that first thought, because that's going to wrap the whole episode up. Speaking of Tarantino, that's what we're doing right now. We're going to give you the ending now.
No, I'm just saying.
Mantic rules.
But I'm trying to address your point of, you know, what Xtreme was saying with the player base. I don't think I'm going to get Biran to play. I might get Ryan to play a couple of games, but
I think
no one else at the store is going to play it.
Mike, you and Biran are a different breed, and Ryan, you guys aren't. And I bring your club up on the show because you have one, we don't. But it's not a good test case for most of these episodes when we talk about what you guys play, because I don't think you follow the norms of that. You guys you look to new games to try out, and you get excited for new games, and that's awesome. I don't think a lot of people do. I think the Xtreme says mostly you are Beatles, Elvis, Beatles, Stones, whatever you want to say. You have your path you've created. You might dabble, but I don't see it happening. I see when I go into game stores and I see people playing 40K, I might see them show up on Kill Team night as well, and vice versa. If I see people playing Kings of War, I might catch an earful of them talking about their Deadzone gang they're working on. That happens. So we're going to
a lot of kill See, I don't think Kings of War has a big crossover with other Mantic. I think people play Kings of War and that's their game.
Yeah.
I used to think that way, and I don't anymore. I've changed because of everything I've seen is.
Well, because you see the fanboys on Facebook who are just insane.
Well, yeah, I see the Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff too, but I also see the it turned into I'm a fan of the company more. It's just turned into, I mean, maybe it's the tribalism that we currently live in with everything right now. I don't know, but that's what it's turned into now.
Yeah, I think our gaming group is not company fanboyish at all.
Yours?
Yeah, we don't.
No,
care.
but I think many are.
Yeah,
I think many are.
But I've the Kings of War group that's meets on Grognards on Mondays. None of those people play any other Mantic games.
And most don't play any other games.
Let me ask you, Mike, were they, and I don't need to even, I don't have to prove my, opinion, but I just wonder if what you're talking about is actually a subgroup of a Kings of War group that were a Warhammer fantasy competitive players. If it's a subgroup, then it's kind of on its own, in my opinion.
Well, they're definitely tournament-oriented Kings of War players.
Which, hey, that could be either way.
Which is, I think, a lot of the continued success of Kings of War is it has this whole tournament series.
Agreed. And I don't want to put it down. Kings of War is
it was designed to be that way. It was designed to be fast, and so you can play it at tournaments.
I've just noticed personally, there's been a lot of allegiance to the company, but that's for both. That's for both Games Workshop and Mantic. what I've noticed. I'm sure there are just, I only play this game, totally. So with that said, so when talking about Kill Team, and we've kind of talked about that there may not be crossover. You can pretend there might be, but if you pre-ordered the Kill Team box set and you go to pick it up at your store, or you did it through Games Workshop, you got the coin or whatever, like you got that because you already like Kill Team mostly, and watching the new stuff cemented that. Deadzone 3 is very similar to Deadzone 2, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I just wanted to kind of set the stage for both games, their releases, what's just come out, and what you may see at your store and what people may or may not be playing. When it comes to gameplay, let's just dig in. Let's get into it. I want to talk about Kill Team first. So previous versions of Kill Team was basically the rules of 40K, but down to the model by model instead of squad by squad. That was it. There's a couple little things with morale and this and that. And then, I'm going to ready this guy, a couple of different types of actions you can do. You might have one more chance of not dying, get like an extra roll. So 40K light with like 4 extra things. That was the old Kill Team. New Kill Team has a different approach completely, because you are using measuring devices, which is fine. They're still inches if you want. Measuring devices on there. Then you have your stats. So the stats are not the typical what you expect from 40K. Strength, toughness, all that kind of stuff. They're different. We do a whole episode talking about the rules. Not going to get into every little bit here, but from what you guys have experienced, either by checking it out, watching, or playing, to you, does this feel like this was a game not created by Games Workshop?
Not in the same way that Underworlds does.
Mm-hmm.
It's still got the bones of GW.
Okay. Xtreme, what were you saying?
It's very different than anything I would ever expect them to release. And we covered that, when we talked about the game too. Like, it's so different than what you would expect them to come out with. Like, I don't know, it's almost like one of those bravery tests, like when they released Underworlds, or even Warcry. Warcry was very different than Games Workshop.
I was thinking that I would have been more feeling that way if Warcry never came out. But since Warcry did come out, Warcry was so different. Yeah. This is much different than 40K, but still, within that realm. So,
when I'm looking at the rules of, so like when Underworlds came out, let's just call that the first Games Workshop game that didn't feel like Games Workshop. Let's just call it the beginning of the timeline of that, of the alternate timeline. Like someone else is in charge of the rules. Okay. That truly felt different. Underworlds is a fantastic game. It truly felt 100% different, except for cool models. Oh, Games Workshop. Look at, see the guy. I recognize that guy. That's it. It's even in a board game size box. It's everything's different. Warcry comes out, and we have an episode on that too. But Warcry comes out, and very much a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of stuff different for the sake of being different. I don't think that, I didn't really enjoy playing Warcry. I wanted to, but didn't. Kill Team feels like somewhere in between those two, where it is some new, different, innovative rules. But there's also some things that are like kind of classic Games Workshop too about it. I like it. It doesn't feel like wholly, completely different like Underworlds did, to your point, Xtreme. It does feel different though. And I like that, because I'll tell you, from a gameplay standpoint, see, I like 40K. I enjoy it. What I don't want is I don't even say dumbed down, is a smaller version of it, because now I'm confused. And that's what the old Kill Team was. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, because I was mixing rules back and forth because they were so close. This version of Kill Team doesn't have any of that. It's a different game. There's still the different phases that you're going through. There's still some, Games Workshop-esque kind of things. So it doesn't feel like 100% like a different company, but it does feel like, wow, they really tried to do a brand new, different game, not for the sake of being different, but actually new, different, good game. And that's how you guys kind of feel with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. They had a boxed game. You know how like that they sell at like Walden or not Walden Books.
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble.
Is that the one with the Necrons in it?
Yeah,
Patrol, I think.
it's the exact same game. It's got one thing different. Yeah,
That's Kill Team, that box?
yeah,
Well,
essentially.
I didn't even, the current Kill Team?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know. I literally saw that like 3 days ago, and I just glanced at it. I thought it was a 40K like starter.
no, it's got the instead of it's hex based, but aside from that, everything else is the same.
Oh, but it's on hexes.
Yeah, it's on hex. It's a board game, but it's still uses the same stats, the same cover, and
So I'm guessing the movement is different because you don't have the widget.
yeah, you're going to be counting hexes. But yeah,
Okay.
aside from that, the mechanics and all that is very, very similar. It's a little lighter, but not too much.
They should stick with the same symbols and just add hex to the symbols and use those for your range of movement because it's hexes. It's already there. It's perfect. It's not just random symbols. So, Biran, what was your take with you played a good chunk of Kill Team 21 games with what you experienced previously with the other Kill Team?
It is night and day as far as how it plays, I think. I think it took a little more while to get a handle on and it's not because the rules are complicated. It's because the rule book is so poorly worded.
Yeah.
They
Could have been better.
Yeah, it's an abomination. I think balance isn't quite there yet. But I really enjoy how fast it seems because I know Xtreme's a big fan of dice efficiency. Shit dies fast in this new Kill Team.
Yeah. You know, the balance thing doesn't bother me that much because it's Games Workshop. I think players demand it and they don't give a fuck and they never have. So I think what is going to happen more importantly to me with Kill Team is are they going to come out with more releases? Are they going to keep it going? Or is it going to die in a year? That's, a little different because that's what happens before.
The release that's coming out now is off the mark. I think that the box it's like another full-size box almost with the sisters and the Tau.
Let's find out and see. We don't know. You're probably right.
Well, that's what's coming out soon.
No, I don't mean that. I mean probably the miss the mark. So,
but I wonder if you could track Kill Team releases by what's coming out in 40K because they're leveraging new models for all of it. Like I know the Tower new models, and I think the sisters are too.
Yes, I mean, the sisters have been releasing some new unit types they didn't have before, and also this box set.
Well, because everyone assumed like, the next set's going to be Space Marines, and it's like, nope.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
They had a plan for new models for those two factions, so that's why they were
kind of ballsy on their part too. Extreme compliment.
Space Marine 40K.
Maybe worthy of an extreme compliment. Games Workshop, a compliment. You did not come out with a Space Marine.
And I believe the Tau have lady fire warriors in them.
Oh. Do Tau actually have genitals though?
I don't know. The fan art seems to indicate yes.
Okay. I thought all Tau have vaginas only.
Well, they have them on their heads.
It's kind of like
vagina heads.
Yeah, I'd almost and depending on how good of a painter you are, Biran, we can really see the detail come out in there.
That's right.
I'd like to see that. Xtreme. Before we get into the comparisons or Deadzone and then the comparisons, this version of Kill Team piqued your interest. Why? Because you never really showed a huge interest in the past.
Because it was very different than 40K. They changed all the stuff I hated in the rules and kept the cool models and the cool world that was around it. So I was intrigued, and the more I read about it, the more I liked the mechanics.
Still are intrigued?
I'm still intrigued, yeah.
Is the window closing?
Probably, but not anything because of the game, just more of me being realistic about how often I'm going to go and play people.
Okay. You were very hyped for this a couple of 3 months ago before it even came out. I'm just wondering if anything like quantifiable as actually like, yes, it is this thing that makes me not like it as much as I did.
No, I mean, I still like it. I was very excited about it, and I still like it that same amount. I'm just realistic enough to be able to step back and be like, hey, I'm not actually going to play this game. And I think that might be where the GW hype thing, I'm not saying it happens to a lot of people, but it happened to me. They gave me enough time to come to my senses and say, hey, don't spend your money. It's just going to sit in the closet and collect dust.
It's like seeing a trailer for a movie super early on.
Right. Whereas if it was a Kickstarter and be like, okay, I have 1 month, you're going to get all my money. I'm still hyped. And now I'll wait a year and a half and get it when I don't care anymore.
Yep. That's Kickstarter's way.
Yeah, that's fair. So, yeah, I gave you time to really think about that purchase and the real like level of realism of will I get to play it or not? Okay. So again, watch the video for if you want to know more about the gameplay itself there. But it's, you know, you have your movement, you have your shooting, you have your different orders you're giving, and you've got stats. Kill team rules is still, you know, a Games Workshop game. You're still going to be measuring that kind of stuff, but you know, it's still on an open kind of area. You're not playing on squares or cube and that kind of stuff. So that still has to happen. You still have to be into measuring and that kind of thing. But think more probably Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Legion with the widgets, right? Than 40K.
And even they seem to borrow that element from Legion with the barriers that you get to set up after.
Yeah.
No,
Which I think is smart. I like that mechanic a lot in both games.
I don't think they took the ease of Star Wars Legion. They said, hey, if your leader's touching it, cover. If he's not, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think they did.
The cover and obscured is still, ugh.
Yeah. Just
I
hire me.
think I've played it 6 different ways, and I'm like, oh, good enough.
Just hire me to write that page. Because I'm just going to make, like, it's going to be 3 sentences and then a big picture of it. Like, you can make cover and line of sight so easy if you really want to. And that leads us to Deadzone, because you just can say things are abstract and you don't have to actually, like, are you afraid that someone's going to get mad at, model's eye view? Like, dude, fuck that guy. Like, let's just rethink how we're doing this and have a fun game.
And they even explained it, I think, in the rule book for first edition, where battle isn't I move and I'm going to wait here. In reality, they're scrambling for cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a great concept. So let's talk about Deadzone. Mike, you have the Deadzone 3 rule book, right?
Yeah.
Anything before we jump into the comparisons or this game that jumps out at you that someone needs to know versus version 2 that just should be talking about, or is it really just a refinement?
It's a refinement, but one of the big things is the model. Remember, it was if you can see it, you can shoot it, and it had some like, so therefore you'd want the scrunch down model versus, you know, and now they have the like Infinity where it's like a cone that comes up. So if your model is doing this, the arm doesn't count, you know.
So your base is like a fluorescent light bulb that goes above it.
Yeah.
Basically to its head. So yeah, you get that.
That's called the don't be a dick rule.
Yeah.
I would like to play a game with fluorescent light bulbs on bases with you guys. That'd be fun. And then when they like fall down, they crash. It'd be hilarious. But that's a change to help with that.
Yeah, to help with just so you know you're not shooting at a tail or a gun bit or something like that. So
same deal. You see the whole model in the base, you get a bonus.
You get +2, yeah.
+2.
They got rid of the concept of cover cubes. Remember that was a thing. I don't know if that was first. I know it was first edition. I don't know if that was in second or not. Because that whole thing of, well, this is technically a cover cube, even though you're standing in front of the cover. So you can still be in the clear, but in a cover cube. That's all gone. And one of the things about Kill Team that, you know, you lose your options. Remember, you know, you're not buying equipment and all of that.
There's a few things you can buy, but for the most part, you're stuck.
Yeah. This, they've simplified it. Because it used to be you'd get your base Marauder or your base GSPC, whatever, and you'd buy guns and whatever for them. And this is like, you get this guy with this is how many points it is. This is how many victory points you get for killing it. And then, so some of the units have like 3 or 4 different options, but it's all just kind of built in right there. So cuts down the min-maxing a little bit. It makes force building easier, and it's all right there on the data card.
Okay.
So
I'll
I
tell
think
you,
they simplified that a lot.
I actually like the old cover cube thing. Even though visually you got to unfuck yourself because you're like, wait a minute, there's nothing in front of me. I know. Like this cube is called a cover cube because there's stuff in it. So I don't care, like Biran's point earlier, I don't care where you are right now. I know that this is a fluid thing going on and you're moving around and you're actually ducking behind that rubble pile that, yes, currently is behind you. But I know you're actually behind it when shit goes down. I actually really liked it. I know many didn't, though, I'm guessing.
It was.
I remember Todd, but you're right in front of me. Yes, but I'm in cover.
Yeah. Or how you could be like behind a wall, but since there's a little window, you could see them, but there's nothing
in the cube.
So it wasn't a cover cube. So that was actually an easier shot than, again, it's abstract.
It's a tough one, you know, and that kind of skates the line of, are you a board game or are you a true war game of, like, you know, as we know, war games, whether it's skirmish or battle, what it doesn't matter, there's always a line of realism versus gameplay. And sometimes if you lean towards one more heavily than the other, people complain. If you make it too easy, you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. If you make it too, quote, realistic, you got your nose buried in books, and then it's not even really a fun game anymore.
But, you know, with this game, you can your position in the cube is wherever. So you could always hide behind that.
It's wherever on your turn, though.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you move into that cube, you can.
I'm saying, but if you're shooting at me, Mike, I don't get to move my guy behind cover. Because you're shooting, it's your turn, right?
No, I'm saying
when you moved in that cube, you should have thought of that.
You should have
so
got behind that cover.
Should have. So Deadzone is I will say taking a bit away from the easier gameplay and moving more towards the realism side. Is that a fair point? No, because you're still utilizing cover. You're not just
got rid of the cover cube abstraction where this cube you're always in cover.
Okay.
I think that abstraction of this is a magical cube, which is harder to shoot me in because there's a trash bag right here it was pushing it a little.
My soldier took a dump and now it's a cover cube because there's dumping.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, part of the appeal of Deadzone, even when first edition came out, was it was either you get to shoot the guy or you get to shoot him better because you can see everything. And I really loved that at the very beginning because again, that whole, am I half in cover? Is it -1? Is this hard or soft cover? All of that.
Yeah.
Is this obscuring versus?
And I guess if you think about it, because I'm getting my versions confused, I guess, but you know, if you're giving a bonus to see the entire model, clear shot, you know, then you almost have. Was that?
What would Pat always say? You're in the open.
In the open. I'm like, yeah, there's no dice for that. I guess you almost have to be pretty strict with where things are because that's a rule in the game.
It's a huge bonus for the clear shot bonus or whatever.
It's supposed to be rare, just to not happen very often. So I get that. So breaking it down, when you're moving in Deadzone, you are still moving cube by cube, and you can put the model wherever you want in the cube.
Yep.
So anyone watching, like, don't take anything away from that. That's still a huge, you know, feature of that game is the abstract, in a sense, movements, cube by cube. So like, you know, 3D, not just linear. And then where they are is where they are. And then there's, you know, obviously cover accordingly when shooting comes. So forget about the discussion. It was kind of meaningless with that, but that takes away the measuring side. There is no measuring. You're doing range by cubes, right? Your rifle is range 5 away. So I can probably hit you from almost anywhere unless I'm in the final one and you're in or the outer ring and so are you. So a lot of the weapons have that full kind of range. Some have completely full. Some have 2 or 3. if you have a flamer or something, you have one away, right?
That's one of the things I think GW did well with this kill team. Your range is either the full board or 6 inches.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I love that about kill team. I love that it's it's like extreme throwing template in Blood Bowl. It's the whole thing. Or just the little one. That makes it super easy because you don't have to worry too much about it. And most of them are full range in kill team. Deadzone, is it still a pretty good mix of range 1 through 8, depending on the weapon?
I think so. Yeah. I didn't really look too much at that,
Which
but
not a
a
knock
lot
on
of
it.
the rifles are like range 5.
Oh, 5.
so-
That's probably 5's better. 6
Yeah,
is a
you
bit
don't
much.
get that first shot kill thing, but so you got to move up a little bit.
Yeah, I think 4 and 5 to me is where things should be. If you think about it, 6 is kind of goofy because all you have to do is move 1 cube, and now you have 6 because you're not counting yours. So now you're
Yeah.
already on cube 3, and you can hit a guy in the last one.
Yeah, yeah.
Which hopefully you have enough scenery where you can't really do that. But
Hopefully, but you're
do they still have that? If you could see any part of the cube, you could do the suppressive fire thing.
Yeah.
no.
It's
'cause-
you got to
Well,
see the target.
So you do have
Are
to
you
get
sure,
it.
Mike? Are you sure it's not just certain weapons have the suppression rule?
Well, yeah. It's certain weapons. It's the way to fire rule.
Right. So to be clear, Biran, what you're referring to is any weapon.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. That's right. That was first.
Any
yeah.
weapon. I'm just gonna like try to pin this guy down and blast that cube. That's not a thing unless you have like
Suppression roll.
whatever like the heavy bolter equivalent is. Like there's like 3 weapons that do. I mean, it's still cool. It used to be anything could do it.
Yeah.
You're not
But if you have the way to
suppressive
fire,
firing.
do you have to see the target, or you just have to see the cube?
I believe it's still the same rules apply. You got to
I'm
see a
trying to-
model to shoot them. I don't think you're firing at a cube at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's you got to see the target.
I don't think that's a thing at all, Biran. That we played a lot of first edition. There was a lot of innovative things. I loved it. I loved Deadzone first edition because I want to play cubes on cubes. It was so different than everything else.
And you want to pull out the scumbag card.
Pull out the scumbag
Oh,
card.
I got you pinned. No, you don't.
You know what I want to do, Biran? I'll do you one better. I want to pull out a card, flip it around, and then show you the scumbag card.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to cover up the scumbag portion with my hand.
Steadfast
Oh.
is Latin for screw you.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, what do you got there? Is that a extra shoot? Nope. Steadfast, motherfucker.
Or where you pin them enough where they start taking damage. That's when you do the steadfast.
Yeah.
Because
There
then
you
you
go.
don't take damage because you never.
Oh man, I forgot about all that. Yeah.
all the levels.
Because I
Yeah.
remember when I played the Forge Fathers, that was one of the things they were good at was damaging with suppressive fire.
Yeah, they can do that. So this version is much like the second edition of Deadzone, where you're still targeting a model. So where you place them in the cube is still important. So you still get the freedom of doing that on your turn. But you still also have to target models and do that. But there's no measuring, so you don't have to do that. You're just counting cubes. There are special rules that go with the weapons. You shoot somebody with a flamethrower, it will have it burns on there, or volatile if it's like a crazy
Count
weapon.
launcher or something,
Yeah, there's still weapon rules that take effect. You can still pick up stuff. I always love that in games. I love the idea of opening up a crate, picking up a frag grenade and saying, fuck it, now's a good time. I just grabbed it and I'm going to use it. So I still love that stuff. That still
You still
goes
have your
on.
crates though, JP.
I have the crates, but you don't really use those anymore because all the items are different.
Icons changed, yeah.
Yeah.
You could if you want. You just have to say that thing is now a
Mhm.
stun grenade, and that.
Or you put the token down, you put the crate on top of it,
There you go.
and then you lift the whole crate off.
Yeah,
I need immersion,
the crates are pretty cool. Because then you use them as cover as well, which I always.
but they do have acrylic tokens for them with this new set.
They do.
But are they crates?
No,
No, they're tokens.
Let me ask you this: token in front of the base, stopping you from the +2 dice bonus?
Do they
What's your
address
take
that
on
where
it?
something like a token is invisible or does not affect?
I don't. Show me in the rules. I don't think it's in there.
Because we were pretty strict about that because it was very overpowered to get 2 extra dice in a shot.
Okay. taking it a step further, that little connector piece.
Or
On the
the
base.
you don't have a connector piece in there, and you can. There's that tiny little
The hole
hole
where
and
the
I can
connector piece
see the
goes.
model through the hole.
Any gaming group worth their salt. Is that the expression? Am I saying that right? Worth their salt.
Mm-hmm.
You say the holes are not a thing, period.
Right.
The holes in the corners that are for connectors, and you didn't use all of them because who
They
the
didn't
fuck does
include
that?
enough connectors in the box to use them.
But also, who's even doing all of it? You
'Cause they
don't
don't
see
fit
through
very
the holes.
well.
The holes are not there. The holes
You're
don't
right.
exist.
You're right. Any gaming group should police that on their own. But then when you have people that are working for the company pulling that on you when you're trying to play them,
Yes.
Is that Ronnie Renton?
no, that was not right.
I don't think Ronnie's ever played a game of Deadzone.
No. He's like, still working on me dwarves, mate. But still,
I have no intention of playing a Kings of War army, but I bet you I will still finish my dwarf army that I have no plans in doing before he does.
Ronnie just wrapped up his first regiment.
It's
12
not
years.
based yet, though. They're on
No.
top sticks.
12 years in the making. Like since before Kings of War was a game when it was just alternative models for fantasy. It's like, all right, 1 down, 20 to go, mate. Like, let's just give it up. Give it up.
The funny thing is, the guys that were playing Kill Team next to us, and Mike played one of them last week or week before last, said, "Hey, you guys want to borrow our laser pointer thing?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, to shine it in your eyes.
Yeah, I'm like, no. I'll just go, "Do you think you got it? Sure. Then you got it."
Yeah.
That's all you should be doing. Deadzone, you don't need a laser pen. Even if you wanted to use one, Biran, it's not needed because it is very much the range is cubes. You still want to see the model, but you've made that determination with the terrain and all that. Movement's pretty easy because you have diagonal, orthogonal, Mike. 3D.
Kitty corner. I'm kitty corner to you.
Kitty corner.
Have you not heard that term?
No, I know the term, but we don't say that.
No, I do.
Is it K-I-T-T-Y or K-I-D-D-Y or I-E?
I don't know.
I've heard
Is it a
caddy
kid?
corner. It's TTY, but I've heard caddy corner too.
Wow.
But maybe that was my
So-
time in the South.
Yeah.
So it's about cats. It's not about kids. When you say kitty corner, it's what cats,
Well, kitties
like-
are kid versions of cats.
kitties, not
Kitties.
kitties.
Like hello.
All right. So is it titties or titties? Or is it tatties?
It Tatties with a D.
I just call them
2 Ds, because
Or is it ditties? Cover up them ditties. So, all right. So talking about movement and shooting in Deadzone, just to kind of like recap. It's a lot of, it lets you choose your own adventure of sorts. You get a lot of flexibility with where you're going in there. It does matter where you go. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're like trying to do like a gang up, you got some bunch of zombies or whatever, you want to be smart about where you put them, right? Because do you have to leave room for the enemy or no?
You can only have 4 models of 8
No,
models total in a square,
I
right?
think you get 8, I think you get 8 total, 4 of you
but
and
only
4
4
of them.
for each side.
Yeah, 4 for each, 4 size points.
But is it, if there's a bunch of shit in the cube, like Biran said he took a dump in the cube,
Mhm.
do you have to be smart about where stuff is? Or is it like you just pretend at a certain
You
point?
pretend
Okay.
because you're
Never mind.
fighting it. Yeah,
Not make them into a pile.
yeah.
Any issue you guys see with that and the whole now cover matters more because they're not covered cubes? Like, let's just squeeze them in. Hold on, let me squeeze my guy in. No, I got it. Because now you're just gonna like mush them all in
Well,
there.
I
Is
think
that-
it's obscure to the point where no matter what, you could get 4 of your size 1 guys in them.
If you're in the same cube, you're not shooting anyways.
But when you expect to just clean house and then now you're like left alone, you killed my one guy. Great. I wanted you to kill him. And now your guys are all there.
And now I have my weight of fire on your cube.
Right.
4 guys. That's why you
Frag
got to
grenade me.
think before
I
you
don't know.
act.
I don't know if it is as big of a deal to be as
Well, what kind of a-hole is going to play an all zombie force?
I did once.
I know.
Xtreme created a whole games day based around that
Yes.
too.
XCon.
Yeah. I thought it was SexCon, and I showed up, and I'm like, shit. What?
Then again, you were in the car with me and Mike, so really, did you want that still?
You know what? I'll share a car with you because it means I don't have to drive. Beer on the way there, Mike the way back. I'm sleeping in the fucking seat. It's great. It's great. All right, so let's get into it. Things we like and don't like about both games. Let's just kind of round the table. Who wants to kick it off?
I'll
Xtreme?
go.
Oh,
Oh,
I
Xtreme
want
to
Xtreme to go first. He's been brewing. Something's been the gears have been turning.
The new versions of each game, I like them both. So they have a lot of things that check my boxes. The things I don't like in Deadzone, a lot of the models. The terrain is great. I love the terrain. I love the map. I love the mechanics. Rules wise, I love everything with Deadzone. But some of the armies models, or I would say most of the armies models, are very underwhelming. Then on the other side of that, with Kill Team, I'm not a big fan of modern Games Workshop models. They look great, but I don't enjoy assembling them. I think they're a pain in the ass. I'd rather not deal with it. But I do like the new Kill Team rules. I don't know if I like the new Kill Team rules as much as I like the Deadzone rules, but I do like the Games Workshop models more than I like the Deadzone models, even though it's also a negative for me, the new Games Workshop models.
Would you probably say, if you were building a Kill Team, would you just say, I'm going to try to go just get the best of both worlds, maybe find some old Games Workshop models that are still better than the Deadzone models?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did initially before Kill Team came out. I went ahead and bought some models, and I bought old Space Marines that were simpler. So yeah, I would definitely go that route. As far as every time I look at Deadzone, I instantly think of what creative, cool models can I find from other companies and use those stuff.
When you mentioned about the models and using the old Space Marines, I would say that your bog standard Primaris Marine looks good. The characters is where it gets a little too much.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I buy a new Games Workshop model kit, I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? Like,
that's why when you build your guy and they have all the extra gubbins to put on, that's another UK term, gubbins.
Yeah, gubbins.
Don't.
Or gubbins, also bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs.
Bog standard gubbin bits and bobs.
Can I just get bobs? Like, I don't want bits. I just want bobs. You know, give me Shanky, don't give me Veer. You know, Mike?
He's Veer Man now. Veer Mahan.
Veer
Which
Veerman?
Again had it. Yeah, they renamed him.
He's Deadzone now. He's Veerman.
Yeah, he's Deadzone. Yeah.
That's great. So Xtreme, I think it's interesting you say that, because to a lot of people watching this, they probably have the Games Workshop models, Mantic rules. I want them to just do them together. You are actually kind of the opposite from what you said, that you like the Kill Team rules. I'm not saying you love Mantic models, but Kill Team rules, not impressed with Games Workshop current line of models.
Not completely opposite. No, because I mean, between the two games, if I had to pick rules, I'm picking Deadzone. I really like the Deadzone rules more. I am very impressed with Kill Team rules. That's what I was saying initially. Like, if we compared the last version of Kill Team to the last version of Deadzone, it's not even closer. It's Deadzone, hands down. But with this new version of Kill Team, it got much closer, because now the Kill Team rules are attractive to me too.
Okay. Anything else? Pros and cons between the two games? We're going to cover a lot.
Personal preference, I prefer the terrain from Deadzone over the GW terrain. I know it's a little more boring and bland, but I don't know. I like it from a game.
It's easier to game on for sure.
Yeah, and I like the idea, the kind of fluff that they kind of pigeonholed in to explain it. I kind of like it, and I can get into that world.
The prefab orbital drop terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool story with that. Cool story, bro. Everything comes in a box, and then the box is terrain. Like, it's like, we're going to send you a house. You're going to get in the mail. The box that it came in, that's also the house. Yeah. I thought the house in the box. box is the house and inside the box.
The two bits of lore from Deadzone that I like is the Terrain lore and their spin on orcs.
Yeah.
How they pretend to everyone else that they're dumb, but they're really not.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're, I mean, what I was reading way back when was the hired as mercenaries, and then the orcs were like, wait, you gave us the training and the weapons. So now we're good? Well, fuck you. We're fighting.
Yeah.
I don't think they were really pretending to be dumb. They were just
they were not pretending to be they were not acting as smart as they really are. They were keeping a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I think they were subservient and then realized, shit, we have the power.
They expanded on the lore in the 3rd edition too, about the whole revolt and how that basically kicked off. It's kind of like, the shooting of what's his name in Sarajevo by Franz Ferdinand. Kind of kicked off the whole
Archduke Ferdinand.
Yeah, thank you. I remember the guy that killed him, but not. Well, yeah, they
who
expand
is
on that a little bit too.
Archduke
Ferdinand.
Who is? Yeah. That's the question.
Who is eating a sandwich?
Yeah. So there's some cool fluff with that. Biran, you wanted to go, or can I?
Yeah.
Can I? Okay.
I'm pretty much right there with Xtreme on this. I would like I won't actually do it, but I would like someone to just do a bootleg compendium, translating it over to Deadzone of the GW armies, and translating it to Deadzone rules with stats and everything, because that's my big hang up. The terrain I like, the mat I like, the dice I like, everything I like. I despise every single model Mantic makes.
Wow, that's a bit extreme.
Yes.
Tell you what, Biran, there's a notes page that most people never use in the back of the Deadzone rulebook. I used it, and I wrote stats for all my Necromunda models for use in Deadzone, every one, and it's awesome.
Even that, just Necromunda gangs from the latest Necromunda. Boom.
The best. That's all you have to. It's the best.
Yeah.
You just go through. You find your starting point of what it looks kind of like, and then you tweak.
Start with the GCPS probably as your basis. And make
I think so. Like when I did, I believe I used, I don't remember offhand, but like Goliaths, I kind of started with orcs. More humans, like Escher probably started more GCPS, and then I started with enforcers for my enforcers, the Arbites.
I totally forgot about this till just now, but I did convert my Judge Dredd models into Deadzone stuff, and then also had a squad of I can't remember the name of it. Other models that I did that too. It was like my default rules to always go to. Whenever I found models, I was like, all right, how can I use these with Deadzone rules?
Yeah.
But unlike Brian, I do like the new Deadzone models, but I do think they are a bit fiddly. The sprue layout is an abomination on these.
You mean Kill Team? You said Deadzone.
Kill Team. Sorry, Kill Team.
Because you said you don't like any Deadzone model.
Correct.
Period. Like none?
None.
What about the chick on the mono wheel?
With 4 different forms of resin?
Well, once she's painted, by the way, side note, even if you paint it up fantastically, guess what's going to break off? The little, not the kickstand. What do you call it, Biran? With a FICO?
The pegs.
Oh, the pegs, yeah. They're not really pedals. I guess they could be pedals. I don't know how it works, Mike. It's a mono wheel. Maybe.
Well, those exist in real life now. That vehicle.
You know where they exist? Like if you go to a bicycle shop and in the front they have like an old-timey bicycle with a big front wheel.
No, but they actually do make a motorized that mono wheel exists now. You could buy that now. It's got similar to Segway for staying upright.
Yeah, you step on either side of it.
Yep.
Is it resin?
No.
Well, how does it
no,
work?
I do not like I used to like the enforcers, but now I don't. I especially don't like their new plastics of stuff. I think it's trash. I should say I do sort of like the Brockers.
Let's
but not any of the other dwarf models, just the Brockers.
Let's talk a little bit about the models. For some reason, the first run of Deadzone models to me look better than the second and third versions, whatever you want to call them.
I agree.
like the Pathfinders to me look like they all got a load of poop in their pants. I don't like, they all look like they're saggy butt, saggy, like 90s comic pouch. But
I don't like their helmets now. Like they have too many ridges on them.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you, but I think the exception is the Beermen who came out.
Oh yeah,
later.
it was good. I was just waiting to jump in on the Veermen. The Veermen are great.
Veermen are really good models. I give you that one too.
I'm not a
Veermen are really good models. The Brockers are cool. The other orcs or the other dwarves are not to me.
Well, the base troop guy that's not a Brocker is another
the
one.
Steel
Of those
Warriors
they're
they're okay.
800 pieces per model.
Yeah, there's too many pieces, but when built right, they're okay looking. But those Terminator dwarves are not good to me at all.
No,
they look like I don't know. They just look like a bunch of just like blocks. Like
some of they look like they're made out of Legos.
Yeah, like if you just made a bunch of like not
like
even Legos,
Minecraft thing, just
like whatever little kids think they were Duplo. They're the bigger blocks. They're Duplo.
Some of the characters were okay.
So I have the Survivor. I have looks cool. He's like a pilot guy.
Yeah.
I have
there's the one guy in the armor doing the Iron Man landing, superhero landing. That was
yeah.
Sergeant Howlett, if you will.
Yeah.
Why do I know that? Looks pretty good. There's a handful of characters that are pretty good.
Some of the rebels are pretty good, I guess, but again, nothing that great.
Yeah, the rebs are pretty good. The heavy weapon reb, he's like the
he looks like a Kilowog.
He looks kind of like a
Green Lantern Kilowog, not
Star Wars Ponda Baba with the vagina mouth. He looks kind of like him. And there's a handful. But
I think the GCPS guys that I just looked at look boring as hell.
I think they're like the newest, and they're kind of the like derpy Stargrave derps.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you would probably be better off buying Stargrave. There's a trooper thing. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, got a box of those.
The Stargrave troopers are better GCPS, I think, than those.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm disappointed with those. I just don't like the initial plague to me are better than the plastic plague. I don't know why. They still have like the elongated torsos. I still appreciate that they're going for a certain look, but it just doesn't do it. The zombies were good though. The zombies were pretty good.
Well, they've always been good at making zombies.
Yeah. But the sci-fi zombies look actually like they look like Games Workshop beefier style zombies. So it's kind of hit and miss. I don't like Biran. You said it was kind of like you pretty much hate them all. I probably hate like the vast majority, but there's still some that have some character to me that I'm cool with, but they usually lean on the rustic side than on the plastic side, the ones I like. Like the Terminator, what are they? Peacekeeper Captain, the old rustic one, looks better than the plastic ones to me. I don't know.
I find the guys with the shields look derpy.
Yeah. So some of the regular enforcers look like the scale is a little goofy at times on the plastic ones.
And again, the resin ones were better.
The resin ones seem to be better. I don't know what happened there, but so from a model standpoint, leaves a little to be desired. Mike, do you remember seeing anything in any of those like those webinar things they were doing where they show new models? Because there's some new Veermen that are also like for fantasy too, right?
Well, when they came out with the Ratkin, they were using Veerman models for photos and whatnot, but now they've got their own plastic Veerman, or a plastic Ratkin, so they've kind of swapped over to that.
For some reason, I thought they were actually trying to make Ratkin in fantasy look heavily armored, so then you can just like port them.
No, it was just they were just using the same, because they were using the wheel, the tunnel runners, and they were using the tangles are the same, the brood mother.
They're like, guys, it's okay. This wheel is not plugged in. There's no batteries on this.
And also the Ratkin picked up from the Abyssal Dwarves the technology stuff. So they're like Clan Scryer. So
the Abyssal Dwarves are kind of like the link to get sci-fi stuff in there.
Well, yeah, because they're steampunk stuff. Yeah,
You can get
those
some-
are now the halflings now too. The halflings are the big
Ah.
steampunkers.
Okay.
So
Biran, anything else comparing the two games you want to address?
Yeah, and I'm also with Brian where Kill Team got better, but I think Deadzone is still a better rule set.
Mike, I'll wrap it up after you.
I was actually, because I hated the old Kill Team, and the new one, I kind of started off as kind of but those last few games I played have been really fun, and it has given me an opportunity to buy some models and paint some models that I've kind of wanted to, that I would never do for 40K, like the space sharks, the Carcharodons, and
Right. You would never do a whole army, but
no, God no. But
to make 5 dudes look all.
I bought a thing of Attack Marines, and on Etsy I got some shoulder pads that have sharks on them, and
Awesome.
so that's cool. I got some Thousand Suns too. That's fun. So
Are you putting fins on the armor?
the heads have a little fin on the thing, and the shoulder pads, one of them's got like a shark mouth,
Awesome. That's cool.
and the other side's got the shark thing.
Tell you what, doesn't Mantic have an actual shark man?
Yes, they do actually.
It's one of the giants from Dreadball
Overdrive.
isn't it?
I'm not
Yeah.
saying have him find his way into your kill team, but I am saying to fucking destroy him and make him all bloody and use him as an objective. We got to find the original guy.
But anyways, I've been enjoying Kill Team more than I thought I would.
Okay.
I would, like I said earlier, I would probably rather play Deadzone as far as rule sets and all of that. The one thing about the terrain, I feel it's better, but like Todd said, Deadzone terrain looks like Deadzone terrain. And you have one option is to play with Deadzone terrain. You're not going to play Deadzone in the wilderness or in a cave, or it's got to be the cubes. So that is slightly limiting, but
Is that I don't understand. Is that a con on Deadzone or the terrain? Because
I mean, the design of the game, I think it's more visually, because again, you get that third dimension that you really don't get in Kill Team. You're either up high, in which case you ignore cover, or you're not.
so
The
just so I'm
vantage
clear,
point.
are you saying that you and Todd say when you see Deadzone terrain on a table, they're playing Deadzone?
It just you it's Deadzone terrain.
Wow.
You don't know they're playing Deadzone, but you could pick it out of a lineup.
I'm
I'm
so
not
the
saying it's
opposite
a
of
bad
that.
thing. I'm just pointing out that you're linked to that terrain set
Wow.
to play the game.
I'm actually the opposite in that they're so generic looking.
No, he's saying like
That-
if you are playing Deadzone, you have to use that terrain. You're not
Yeah.
going to play it in a desert.
Oh,
You can't
okay,
you can't use your but it also has a
Okay.
look to it, which
You're
I'm not saying
saying-
is
okay.
bad, but
so you're saying the limiting factor is you can only use Deadzone terrain, or
Your
you
battlefield.
can only play Deadzone with
you can
Deadzone.
only play Deadzone. God, why am I such a
Yeah.
You can only play Deadzone using Deadzone terrain.
For the most part, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
God. Okay.
Another thing, again, I love the command dice. We didn't really address that in Deadzone. You've got the command dice that give you the extra abilities, and Kill Team has some of that with the command points. But again, you get this proliferation of rules because every faction has their own command abilities, and in some ways that builds character to the army or the units or forces, whatever. But in other ways, it's just a lot of rules that
You
you
think
have
that-
to.
You think they're using the splat rule for each army is a lot of rules?
No, I'm saying for Kill Team.
Kill Team.
Oh, and Kill Team.
Every
Oh,
Kill Team faction has their own command point abilities, which is
yeah.
great if you're only playing one. But if you're playing a bunch, it can be overwhelming, and then you end up just not using them. Whereas for Mantic, the Deadzone, you roll those dice and you get the reroll sometimes, so you can kind of improve it.
The
But it
splat
really,
is
I
what
think it
is.
adds to the gameplay a lot.
Yeah, Kill Team right now, it's kind of like even the current and previous edition of 40K. There's so many stratagems.
Yeah,
Like I'm not using 90% of them.
yeah.
it's a re-roll or like 3 other things I'll consider.
Yeah.
And so the more competitive players know exactly what to use when. Don't care about them. I only care about my game and what I'm playing. And Deadzone really did make that pretty simple. You had your faction specific thing to do, plus your 5 generic things to do.
And the generic things are very useful. And
Right. It's kind of like, I mean, it's like with a lot of things. We know we mentioned Underworlds earlier, but like, you know, all these cards I can take. No, I want the +1 wound, +1 move. I want like the standard boring as fuck things that are so damn useful. And Deadzone has those. Activate an extra guy. Boom. Awesome. Get a free shoot. Are you kidding? Fucking great. Fight again when I'm in the right scenario. Also pretty awesome. All the generic things are so good that sometimes I don't even care about my splat. I might re-roll the splat because I don't want the splat. I want the really standard, boring, useful things. And Deadzone has that.
Yeah. For kill team, it's like you get that your bolters can refire, can shoot twice. That's great. Some of those other things I'll never use,
The only one I
yeah.
think it's the only thing I've used ever in kill team is bolter, discipline, or whatever, and re-rolls.
Yeah.
That's all I've done. And there's like 20 to choose from. So yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I don't want to fight twice because if I get in a fight, things are going bad.
Well, if I'm in the fight and it's the end of the game, then sure, I'll use that one because
the chances of another fight happening after the first one are low. Well, at least when you're playing the Tyranids or anyone good at combat.
Yeah, Custodes. Yeah, God.
Yeah, if you're good in combat, you're not going to get a chance to do anything.
Or even if I'm using my 1 Space Marine that's good in combat, I'm going to go against the tier. Oh, that went badly.
Yeah, that went poorly.
That was always like the thing in Space Hulk, like all right, well, my captain's got a sword. It's still a fucking gene stealer. You're still going to die. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing, but okay. Anything else, Mike, on the comparing the two? Okay. As for me, obviously, what these guys said, Deadzone is a really, really good rule set. I worked on it. I got to be a part of that. We played as a group. We all played a bunch in tournaments, in campaigns, in one-offs, both first edition and second edition, and probably eventually third edition. That's great. All of that is great. Deadzone is great. Don't feel like playing it. Just because something's great doesn't mean I'm into it. Funny thing. Talked about Underworld a second ago. The only game I gave 5 Zlurpies to. Haven't played in a while. Don't even feel like playing in a while. But why? If I gave it 5 Zlurpies, shouldn't that be the game you play all the fucking time? Nope. Deadzone, what a great fucking game. Shouldn't we play it all the time? Maybe you do. Maybe you want to. I don't feel like it. Kill Team has more of Slaaneish's allure to me, if you will. I actually would like to play Kill Team if given the choice. Whereas if a person said, let's play Deadzone, chances are they're going to try to convert me into what? Probably an all-time Mantic only person. You know what's funny? When I play Deadzone against someone, they're probably going to probably shit talk Kill Team in that game because they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
They're the Canadian of the group for sure.
They have a cube-shaped chip on their shoulder. And they're going to start shit talking Necromunda and say, dude, don't even tell me. I don't want to play Necromunda, but those books on the shelf are going to get their own section. That's how cool those fucking books are. Don't shit talk that game to me. Only I could shit talk that game. It's like when someone talks about your family, I say they suck, but you can't say they suck. So Deadzone comes with baggage to me, and I think about that, and I hope I'm proved wrong one day on that, but I know it will, and I know it does. So that's part of it too. Also, if I play Deadzone, I have to be in charge of everything, and I don't want to be in charge of everything. I don't want to cultivate a group to play Deadzone, but it kind of has to be that way. Because a Mantic fanboy may not have the, my Yiddish isn't strong, but the chutzpah to create a Deadzone league without my help.
Low charisma score.
Yeah, they're gonna need. They're gonna need my charisma. They're gonna need my chutzpah to.
A certain je ne sais quoi.
Yes. Is it Zen or Jen?
Je ne sais quoi.
Okay.
I was thinking
Mine
about
is
Canadians and how they say Z, and it threw me off.
Oh, okay. I think that Deadzone is going to need me to do some more work then, and I'm not ready to jump aboard with what that's going to entail.
You just want to pump and dump. You don't want to bother with the foreplay.
I want to pump and dump. Kill team, I can pump and dump. Like, I played a guy at a local store, a random dude that I replied to him on Facebook. What am I going to be turned into a skin suit, or is this going to be a lifelong bosom buddies or something in between? It was none of the above. It was a guy showing me the rules, me saying, I kind of already know how to play. He's like, oh, I said, but I appreciate it. He then walked through every step of the way. Do you prefer to learn audibly, or do you prefer to learn when I hand you this rule book? I'm like, audibly. And he proceeded to tell me everything in the game. And I fucking loved it. It was awesome.
Were you did he actually say that though? Did he say, do you prefer to learn?
Yeah, he
like,
did.
That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, but I heard it. I was like, no one has ever asked me.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then I sneak out.
No one's ever asked me how I prefer to learn. It's like, at any job, you may have filled out the chart. What is that one called, Biran? Or Mike knows, I'm sure. What's how you learn?
Yeah.
Like the quads.
The E, G,
yeah.
E.
I probably took a seminar, told me which one I am, but no one's ever acted on it. You just do it because HR tells you got to fucking do it. Ironically, also the cubes. This guy asked me and then acted on it, and I loved it. And throughout every step of the way, he talked me through it all. It was great. I had a lot of fun. At the end of the game, I said, are you looking to get something going? Yeah, I'd like to maybe, put something together and run something. He didn't say, well, I don't know. No one's playing. Would you be? Nope. He already had the bull by the horns, with or without me on board. Thought it was great. That's the kind of stuff Kill Team could get you that I don't think Deadzone could get you. So from Xtreme's point earlier, the realism and the playability standpoint, I think Kill Team can afford you the pump and dump. I want to just get in and get out and have some fun. Deadzone, I think it's a scene, man. I think it's a whole scene. And I don't want to do the scene. So if I'm scoring it, point Kill Team. Looking at the terrain, I'm all in on Deadzone terrain. I fucking love it. I glued it on boards though. I can still plop it on a Deadzone map because I built 5 pieces and I think 4 of them. I think only
draw
one.
The grids where they would be.
Yeah.
I think only 4. Only one of them I just did whatever the fuck I wanted to. The other 4, I'm pretty sure will line up exactly where, like, the gap in the middle is 3 inches. And then this one is 3 inches. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally, it could be plopped on. I might have to draw a couple little like marks on the terrain to like kind of like how Biran likes the little pluses on a Blood Bowl pitch. Might do a couple of those in there to help. But I actually built 4 out of 5 of them. I could do this and put them on Deadzone. Doesn't mean I'm going to though, but I can. The terrain is great. I don't care about the Games Workshop terrain. There's a few pieces that I really like when you get these fucking these back to tanks and shit they have are all really cool. But overall, the thing that has the ledge with the pointy things on it, I don't really like the way that looks. I don't like the butt plug thing that just plops on. I don't like a lot of that stuff. So point Mantic, point Deadzone, terrain, 1-to-1 right now. Models, Games Workshop all the way. It's not even close. The newest stuff is the best stuff to me. I disagree with Xtreme there. I love all of it. Point Games Workshop is not even close. Rules wise, this is a big one. When you really break down the rules, Mantic does have a good, clean, fun rule set. And if you ask me about the previous Kill Team, I would give point to Mantic. But I like the current Kill Team rules a tad more than Deadzone rules. Point Games Workshop. Let's throw in intangibles out there. Like I mentioned earlier, Mantic has a lot of stuff that goes along with it. The store, I was not going to have the things. I got to go in, I got to do this, and I got to unfuck the Kickstarter, and I got to Games Workshop. I buy the box set. It's $200. It's pricey. Or you can buy the rule book for 50 and use your existing stuff. Hey, the compendium isn't great, but it gets me by and I'm still having fun. I use my infiltrators. I had fun. They all have the same weapon. Doesn't matter. I didn't think I was going to have fun with it, but I did still have fun. Point, kill team. So for me, it's not really close anymore.
I've come around on the compendium. Now I think it was a good buy.
I think it was a good buy. It's still not exactly what I want.
I mean, I'm getting more out of it than I would a typical $50 add-on book.
I have to admit, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm getting that compendium. And then I started doing it. And then.
Well, like I said, when I first bought it, I was bummed about the Space Marine stuff and the lack of options, but I played a game. You know, like when people complain about shit in games, the first thing they should do is shut up and actually play. That should be the first thing you do. Stop complaining, shut up and play, then see if your complaint's still valid, because it really wasn't anymore. I played an infiltrator kill team, 5 dudes, gave a couple frag grenades. I gave one dude the medic thing, the helix. So he was a little different. He was the guy that has all the wires anyway. He used to be my old comms guy. But they all had the same basic, like master crafted bolt carbine, whatever. They all had the same weapon. I thought I wasn't going to like it. Turns out it was great. It was a lot of fun. And guess what? I only had to remember it one time, and I always remembered it.
Yeah.
So would I have loved to have my one of this, one of that, one of this, one of that? Sure. But I still had fun. So shut up and play. It happened, and I liked it. So fuck it. It doesn't matter anymore. I still have my other custom White Scars kill team that if by chance one day I do get a chance to use one of this, one of that, and all that, awesome. But if that day never comes, they'll look cool on display. I'm not using them. I'll use the actual squad, as they were. So for me, it's no comparison. Deadzone will ever be a special game that we had a lot of fun with leagues, and I had fun helping a lot with the rules and doing stuff with Mantic. And if you guys really wanted to play Deadzone, and we had XCon or NachoCon or FlannelCon or EuroCon or whatever, sure, I'll play. I'm using Necromunda models, and you can't say shit about it. And I'm going to use the rules that I came up with it, and you're going to say they're not balanced, and I'm going to say, who cares? I'll play. But in general, it's going to be, make mine kill team every time.
So we're going to go around and say which one wins?
Yep. So I said mine. Xtreme, back to you.
It's much closer, but I still lean towards Deadzone.
Okay. Let's go to Biran.
So everyone who knows the show knows I hate Kevin Smith.
Is he
where this is going?
Is he in Deadzone?
Yeah, he's one of the abomination things.
He's. I see Kevin Smith as what are the dwarves called in the big clunky armor? I see him in that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Peacekeeper.
Iron Warrior, or I forget. Doesn't matter.
Iron,
Anyway, so
Iron Guard,
Charles.
So the point is, Clerks is a better movie, but I'm more willing to watch Mallrats. So Deadzone is Clerks. I think it's a better game, but I'd rather watch Mallrats and play Kill Team. So Kill Team wins.
So quote my friend Bobby, what he always says about Clerks: people don't talk that fast. People aren't that witty. Still like it, but kids that age aren't that smart.
Yeah.
Better movie, but you don't feel like watching it as much as you would Mallrats.
Right.
It's funny because over time, I now actually think Mallrats is a great movie. Because I used to think it was, but
the problem is the main lead that's not Jason Lee sucks.
Because you wanted Jeremy in London, you got Jason London, or reverse.
Whatever. I just like he's a terrible actor.
Okay. All right, Biran. So with Kill Team?
Yes.
Okay. Valdric?
I will go with Deadzone, but at the end of the year, I will probably have played a lot more Kill Team. So
Have you played any Deadzone this year?
no,
Do you have any Deadzone games scheduled?
probably not. I got it. If it was, then I'll have to hook it up with Ryan. So yeah.
Do you think Ryan wants to play Deadzone?
Yeah, he's gonna buy the rules.
Okay.
Ryan plays everything.
Yes.
Well, that's true. Can I ask, knowing what I know about Ryan, is it new stuff, sexiness?
Well, he
played in
says
our campaign.
No, I know.
Ryan
Back
acknowledges
then.
that Deadzone is the superior rule set. So
I'm talking about right now. Like, basically, my point is, if third edition didn't just drop, would he say, "I want to play Deadzone with you, Mike"?
if I said yeah, I mean,
That's
Ryan
cool.
is
No,
up for play anything, you know.
I think it's
So,
great. I was just wondering if it's just the by nature of something new came out, so let's try it again. So, okay.
I mean, that's always, you know, it helps.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Ryan's
you
one
know,
of those people that you can say, this game we played 10 years ago that he enjoyed,
Right.
he'll be up for it. So
well, you know, people always say whenever they talk about a game, it's like, oh, this game's not supported. This game's dead. This game's dying. What's the answer? People always tell them, you can still play it.
yeah, yeah.
So that's true, but does it actually happen? Or do people play what's new? Just something, food for thought, if you will. We always say that. You can still play it, but do you? Or do you think it's too hard to find people?
I think that's why they have to keep on coming out with new editions. Because
Yeah.
if it wasn't for our episode on Dreadball, I wouldn't have tried 2.0. But if 2.0 didn't exist, we wouldn't have done an episode, and I wouldn't have
Sure.
tried. So.
So here's a quick one before we wrap up. What game between Kill Team 21 and Deadzone 3 has a longer lifespan?
Deadzone.
I actually think so too.
Yeah, I was gonna say
because of
it's-
the fanboys.
and it will limp on
Yeah.
like an old dog, you know, just
Dragging its dead
dragging its
paws. Yeah.
Kill Team is sprinting right now.
yeah, but it's what
Tortoise and hare. Yeah.
when they drop it, they're gonna drop it.
Yeah. And then you can still play it. I know, but I'm going to move on to something else because at that time they're going to re-release Mordheim or something. Like there's going to be another Games Workshop box game to overshadow Kill Team in 2 years probably. Deadzone will limp on forever.
That's what, Xtreme might believe is the capitalist curse. You always got to release something new to keep the growth level. It's not about earnings, it's about growth.
For all those like old Hammer groups and people that say, oh, I love second edition 40K and fourth edition Warhammer, do they really play it?
No.
I think they talk
Once
about playing
they go to a Adepticon once a year, set up the table, and then just get drunk and forget to play.
Yeah. You know what they do? They do probably have a table in their basement with the old second edition. It was the three books, Codex Imperialis, War Gear, and the black and white fake Codex. They got them sitting on a table with all the counters. They're all super like chewed up though, you know what I mean? Because they're from 1993. And they got them all in plastic bins ready to go. But they're not playing it because they're on Facebook talking.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good thick layer of dust on the entire table.
Yeah, they're not playing it. That vortex grenade template is all fucking ratty on the ends, you know. Chewed through by a couple of animals. So all right, well,
High score.
tie score. We're not breaking it down to numbers.
No.
You know, I could have asked, give me a percentage. Is it 60-40 Kill Team? But I'd rather leave it like, 2-2. Let the people decide the ending. We're not going to give them a shitty ending. They will decide the ending.
And I think all four of us like both games.
Yeah.
This is not 100-0. This is probably all in that middle range if you were to break it down. I'll still play Deadzone. Just too much work right now. And I just, Kill Team's new, fun, sexy, exciting. So let's try it. If it was the previous Kill Team rules, this episode would have gone a little differently.
Yep.
But it's not. So it went how it went. Tell us in the comments what you think. Pros and cons of each, what game you prefer. If you agree with us, that Deadzone's probably better, but you might prefer to play Kill Team for other reasons. Let us know in the comments as well. Follow on social media at Zlurpcast. Subscribe to Zlurpcast TV. This what you're watching now, not only subscribe, ring the bell. So every Saturday at midnight, an angel gets its wings and you get a new Zlurpcast and you get the latest and greatest. That way you can say first. Because Biran always says first. And I always say these guys suck. You could be first and you could be these guys suck.
Oh, we were going to do a shout out, right, to someone?
Yeah. Give me a name, some names, Biran.
The
Who
only one I can
recently?
remember off the top of my head is Johan.
Johan will definitely chime in. Haven't heard from Alex in a while. I don't know if he's still watching. Biran, who else do we have?
Wasn't there a Chinese guy?
What's his name?
Chung?
I think it's Zhao.
Zhao.
It is Zhao.
Hi, Zhao.
What up, Zhao?
Big fans of Zhao.
He's not a fan of you calling him Chung.
No, probably not.
Jeez, terrible. But he watches and we appreciate his comments. And I like when people partake in the comments because it makes this normally one-way medium into a two-way. We can see what people like and what they want to check out. He commented on our Cribs episode, like to see where we all have stuff and talk about stuff. And I have a white wall.
I think
now.
one of them shat on mine, but that was okay because it was fair.
I mean, sometimes you need to be shat on.
Sometimes criticism is, you take it to heart. And I do.
But you specifically.
Yes. Because you three are beyond criticism, whereas I have flaws.
Well, yeah, we'll cry about it, but you appreciate getting shat on and you lick it up every last.
And I have no German in me either.
No, you're just into it. You're just into it. So otherwise, Zlurpcast discussion on Facebook, join Zlurp Nation, link down below. And I think we have our own social handles on there, so you should follow those in the description as well. And we'll be back in a week talking about something else that's not this. So bye.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by McMurdy's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loathing it.